Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. Also, PORSBR will give you 10% off of ActivalyBlack.com. ActivalyBlack.com, your place for activewear, all the good stuff they got going on. They got sneakers, they got everything. You know, if you're active and you wanna be styling and everything, look fresh, please do so from ActivalyBlack.com. Their greatness is in their DNA. So USC through 3 games. Let's kind of go over it a little bit. 3 games. I think that I didn't know if Caleb Williams could get better, but I think he is getting better, and it's kind of scary for the rest of college football that he's getting better every time you see him play. Just his ability to just move and do all these different things. But I think the number one thing I love about Caleb Williams is his ability to stay in the pocket now. I mean, he was a pocket. He could beat you from the pocket anyway. I mean, people who are casuals to USC will say, "Oh, you know, he didn't. You know, is he a pocket? Can he beat you? Can he win from the pocket?" Of course, he can win from the pocket. And he's been able to win from the pocket his whole career at USC. But the highlights that you see on YouTube, the highlights that you see in people's Instagram stories and whatever reels, whatever it is, you're going to see him when he makes that spectacular play, moving around, running around, just doing all those crazy things. But for the most part, he wins from the pocket. And I mean, sometimes they move the pocket, they move the platform, those kind of things, which is smart offensive football. Like it's just common sense to make those moves. But for him, he's just doing a great job of like sitting in the pocket, waiting for those receivers to get open, waiting for those receivers to make plays, and that's something that you have to kind of commend for Caleb Williams. He wants to show the full allotment of tools, so when it comes time to NFL draft time, nobody can say, you know, hey, the guy is just not a big time, you know, passer from the pocket. And I think he's been able to do those things and has complete control, complete command of the USC offense. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. I mean, it's really, I can't wait to see when they get the ball. I think they're averaging, you know, over 8 points a game. I mean 8 points per play or 8 points per whatever. Like, I mean, they're just scary good. And they get you going left, right, all that stuff like that. They get you. I can't say you can't stop, because there's gonna be that one game, that one half where they might struggle. But I think right now, when you look at this team, they've been able to do so many different things offensively that you just have to it makes you smile. And the fact that they took care of Stanford, as I said in my previous podcast, I have no like affiliation or like admiration for the battle between USC and Stanford for the years. I don't care. Like, it's over. Like, it's over. Like, how can you be? There's a difference between a rival and a team that plays in your conference or plays in your division. Like in the NFL, like there are people who are division rivals, they say, but one team is 30 games over 500 against the other, like USC is to Stanford. I don't believe in my mind that that's actually a thing. I think that if you're 30 games over, then you dominate the series. Then who cares? Like, I mean, I don't care how long you've been playing. You can be playing for 100 years. It doesn't really matter. If you are dominating at that clip, to me, it's not really a rivalry. You just happen to play this team who's in your division, and that's what USC is doing with Stanford. And the matter-of-factness of the way they kind of destroyed the Cardinal in this game, like, you know, Taj Washington said that, you know, on one of the podcasts, that you can kind of tell when you're blocking somebody, how bad they really want it. And these wide receivers on this team block. and the fact that like nobody really wanted it on this team. Nobody really wanted it on this team, on that squad. It's really the worst. I mean, the fact that they didn't want a piece of USC in this ball game, and you could see it. You could see it, and USC just went there and throttled them and destroyed them, and probably played the best half of football we've seen from an SC team, from special teams, offense, defense, and everything. So they kind of wrapped up their whole thing. I thought it was kind of sad that not only did the Stanford band not come, but the Stanford mascot didn't even come. So like they're out on football. What exactly is the ACC paying for? Because they're paying them for to come, because it's embarrassing. Like the fact that you're not even gonna go and bring your marching band and bring your marching band. The Stanford marching band is one of the things that they're famous for. They didn't bring that, and they didn't bring the mascot, and they also didn't bring their football team because that game was absolutely an embarrassment as far as that goes. I want to talk about the wide receiving core or the weapons core for SC. I mentioned Jacoby Lane. We got Kyron Hudson, Michael Jackson the third, Dorian Singer, Mario Williams, Brendan Rice, Zachariah Branch, Mekhi Lemon, and Deuce Robinson. I just want to give them props for being so incredibly unselfish. Like, if 3 of these guys could have entered the portal and just been like, you know what, this is too much. Let me go somewhere where I'm going to play. Let me go somewhere where I'm going to put on huge numbers. Let me go somewhere where I'm going to be kind of a star. And they are just playing with joy and playing with Caleb Williams and playing in this offense where, like, you know, a guy like Brendan Rice, like what I think the last 2 weeks he has like 2 catches. The 2 catches are for touchdowns, but for him to be that unselfish, to be like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and just take those 2 plays and take my two targets and make them big. Thinking about the bigger picture, like when we play Colorado, when we play some of these big time teams, that I'm gonna be more of a vocal point. I'm gonna worry about those games instead of worrying about what I have to do right now against these bad teams. Like that's a level of unselfishness. And when you watch the All 22, and we'll have our All 22 show as well, coming up this week, as the Trojans enter a bye week, one of 2 bye weeks they have. It's kind of crazy to think about it when you think about the fact that like they are a team who they get their wide receivers to block, like really block. Like it's crazy. And one of the smallest receivers, Taj Washington, is a guy who blocks a hell of a lot. He's a tremendous blocker, and it's just when you watch it on film, it's just beautiful to watch. I mean, it's beautiful to watch that unselfishness that they actually play with in this offense and with this wide receiving core. And some more unselfishness, I would say that, like, you know, people who talked about Marshawn Lloyd, and I think there's other, me along with other USC content creators, podcasters, I've talked about the impact of Marshawn Lloyd. And Marshawn Lloyd is special. Like, he is special. He's downhill. He's like a bowling ball. That guy can just run you over and run by you. Like, he just makes great decisions. He has great vision as well. So it's fun to watch him run. And then, like, when Austin Jones comes in, it's just like he's just gonna run. He can do the same thing. He can do the same kind of stuff. And then for him to not be like, I was here first, this guy's transfer, whatever. Like, they just play unselfish brand of offensive football, and it's actually really something that's really cool and joyful to watch offensively, because they are just like, they are just so efficient. They just don't make a lot of mistakes. I think the one little thing is maybe Didich at center, a little on those snaps. Some of them have gone awry, if you will. Not really like feeling that part of it. I think he's, and then also some of the pressure up the middle has been a little bit, but it's gotten better and better every week. So, but they do have enough on film where I think Lincoln Riley and his staff, Kingsbury and Alice Grinch will have enough there where they can say, hey guys, like, we won our first 3 games, won them convincingly. We are USC, so we should win those games convincingly. And now let's take it to another level, because we're playing opponents who are going to be on another level. Defensively, every week they're getting better. Their most formidable opponent, they dominated the most, and Stanford, Power 5 team, and they just won the game in the trenches. You can talk about secondary and this and that and all these other things back and forth, but this game, this sport, is about winning on the defensive line if you're going to be good on defense. And Solomon Byrd moving to another position, being more outside instead of being inside. Jamil Muhammad has been as advertised. They were like, who is this former quarterback from Georgia State? You know, what is he going to do for the Trojans? And he's been able to do a lot of really cool things on the pass rush, and he has 100% got that hammer to come around the right shoulder, the throwing shoulder. He knocked the quarterback out of the game. Like, those are the kind of things, forcing fumbles, those are the kind of things you have to love if you're USC. But it all goes with the guy who really makes it happen. And the guy who really makes it happen is the transfer from Georgia, and that's Baylor Alexander, the guy who leads the nation in pressures. Let me repeat. From the interior, he leads the nation in pressures. Like, that's incredible. I mean, that's really great football right there. He leads the nation in pressures. Like, you can't beat that. Like, I mean, pressure up the middle is what Tom Brady hates, what any great quarterback hates. And then when you have these guys who are lesser players, they struggle. They really struggle to deal with pressure up the middle. You don't want to have pressure up the middle, and he just causes havoc when you try to run the football. He does a great job of that. He's stopping and run as well. Everything kind of starts with him, and then with his ability to do that, it really just screws up what everybody else is trying to do, as far as trying to move the football against USC. I mean, it's just become a very difficult task for teams to deal with. So they get the bye week. They get Arizona State after the bye week. It's kind of weird to not have a football game this week for USC, especially when you sit there and consider that it's just probably one of their best games. I mean, that was one of the best USC games, best performances we've seen in a long, long time, where they just dominated from the outset. Beautiful to see. And we just want to make sure that, I think you're looking rally and everybody wants to make sure that continues to happen. But I do want to give Alex Grinch credit. Every week they're getting better and better and better. He's going to be fully 100% tested when they start playing some of these better teams. But even when you play these better teams, you have to understand and realize that you still got to score 40. You still got to be on your game offensively. And if you can't score big time against the USC defense, if you make a mistake and turn the ball over, interception, anything like that, you're gonna have a big issue with staying with this offense, because this offense at USC has just been tremendous through the first 3 games of this season. So USC 3-0. I'm not gonna talk about all the where they're placed in the poll, because obviously if you beat an SEC team, it's like it's like gold. So because it's kind of crazy, but we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But like once they start getting into the meat of their schedule, you'll see some movement for the Trojans if they keep winning games. So, all right, so everybody, right? USC podcast, Dwayne Douglas here. We outside. Peace, y'all.